Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Croatia, in which, as you could see, why are we looking at Croatian positions in Korea? Well, in case you didn't see the previous episode, which it took a while. I mean, first things first, we've expanded more of the Croatian colonies of New Croatia and Croatian Canada, which we just did everything, including controlled by Croatia itself because of, well, reasons. That remains not well understood as much as I really want to give this land away to either of the colonies, but doesn't look like I'll be able to, so I'm just going to have to keep them for myself then. But for now, as I go back to the Far East, how did we get this province here? Well, that's easy. We bought them from the Koreans. We spent about over 8,000 ducats. Can you believe that? Over 8,000 ducats just to establish a charter company there. And so we now have the Croatian Nippon Company, which is currently under the control mostly by Japan, which has the most trade power, whereas Croatia's only 10% of it, but that will change. And this is what this episode is going to be mainly about. It's going to be mainly about the Croatian invasion of Japan for the control of all of its centers of trade, and including one more province up there which does not have a center of trade, Tokachi, along with Chikuzen, which again I'm not fluent on Japanese, so it's the best I could pronounce as far as what spelling looks like. So there's coal over there, and that's all center trade, so that makes it attractive because of the trade value. Compare that to silk, which is still valuable to this day, but the problem is, well, coal is much more valuable. And one more up there in Tokachi, which would be very good. Gold is more of a necessity, but also I've noticed that Japan has three great projects, including one more that's unexplored. But knowing that we'll take a center trade in Musashi, this is the home of the Sanken Kotai Palaces, which the Japanese have not really made much improvements to it, so it's insignificant. But it can be used by any culture, whoever's the owner of it. So if we were to improve upon that, adds more prestige from land battles and war taxes, cost reduction. I never used the war tax before, but I'll show you in a moment as a reminder of what that is exactly. To get it significant, reduces the cost of appointing generals. That's very attractive. And to magnificent, reduces much of it, including even more prestige from land battles, and also local recruitment time will be reduced from over there. So definitely an attractive target. But I have not made much improvements to it, but I'm sure there could be some use for it. And this other one here in oh, where is it again? Yes, it is in Harima. Yeah, Harima is home of the Himeji Castle, which the culture group is Japanese, but it doesn't say a province, so meaning if it was under the control of Croatia, this would not be useful to us, but they have not made improvements to that at all for the Japanese here. But if you were of a Japanese cultured country, you would have these bonuses, including defensiveness from that area, foreign spy detection, spy network construction, and more so, and all the provinces in area as part of the Sanyodo. Interestingly, before I've decided to play as Croatia, and as well as the recently now concluded series with Sirhind and the Delhi into Mughal Empire, I actually considered about a potential series at the very beginning. I mean, one of my other original choices I've not mentioned before was one of these Japanese daimyos, particularly the one that would be from the whichever the area where the Usagi comes from. The Usagi daimyo. Thought about that because it was one of the few larger Japanese independent daimyos. Well, not exactly independent because everyone's an overlord. Everyone's a vassal to the Emperor of Japan, who now resides there at his residence in Kyoto. Just like with the Delhi Mughal series, it's Ashikaga Dynasty, excuse me. Even though they did change dynasties in that other series, where it was of a Siamese origin, this one is Saigoku, so Japanese. Well, there's 3 different Japanese cultures. One over there in Ryukyu, for example, is part of the Kyoshuan, which consists of that. Saigoku is, is over there, and Togoku is for this one. Saigoku up there. I guess they must have imported that culture. While Ainu still remains, which that's Kamchatka, which is related to them over there. Natives of the area, so to speak. Indigenous people. So now, what are we doing here? As we said, we want to take control of all these centers of trade, including the coal, the silk, and this one will also have Chinaware. That's also pretty valuable when for improved upon. And a little bit of fish, which is kind of but we'd rather use, impressment offices. And especially up there, we'll get rid of fish and it'll be replaced with coal, so we'll have to develop that one as well. We don't aim to take over all of Japan. No, just the areas that would be valuable to the Croatian Nippon Company. Says it right here. You need to control 51%, and then you get another merchant. As a merchant is present here. We're not collecting much out of that, but when we take more control of it and further improvements for the company, then we can get to talking. And I'm sure one day that if we happen to have another merchant, then get it to steer it down this way. In fact, trade from the Polynesian Triangle, although there's 0 value, it also is going over there. Yes, Japan even has a power there. Those are the only merchants that are present there. As I said, well, we aim to change that. It's for the value of the company and all that. This one will be left alone because you cannot go to war against Korea, because if you do, you're going up against them. The Ming Empire. Which no one can disturb it. But they view us a little more positively because we have the same enemies as Spain and Vijayanagar. But I don't like the fact that they were allied with Mamluks. They don't like that, but what you're going to do about that? But much of the land up there remains unexplored. And also, when to launch the invasion is another question. I'm thinking about a year later because look how close we are. I think we may have to delay the invasion until about a year, which will buy us enough time. Because I need to transport at least one more army by then. Return to Athena. Need to go pick up one more army. Be stationed here. I'm not picking up that idea here. Although prestige from land battles sounds very good, but our prestige is very high. But if I was to spend my money to improve that castle over the palaces over in that area of where we plan to take them. And that'll be for it. Now, please remember, that can never happen. The highest valued trade node in the world because of, again, English Channel. Hold on. Read that again. Valued trade node. Yes. Talking about value. You mean these? You got that? Oh, where is it? Nippon, here, again. Not as valuable, but will be improved upon in future. There's a bunch of countries that has embargo on us. Especially the Timurids. One of these days I ought to consider that. If we want to increase the value. So, we sent them out. So we will not launch the invasion of Japan until next year. Well, with them feel threatened. Okay, you got your seat in the subway. And speaking of the subway, what do you need? Let's bribe a few MPs. I'm willing to spend my money. Because I'm not making any more company investments. Okay, what else? Trade efficiency, trade range, may infiltrate administration. Yeah, I remember that from the Mughal series. Think! Now I remember. You had something else on your mind and you lost it. Take the administrative support and it'll be one more. Here. There you go. You got your free merchant for the next 10 years. And also more trade power abroad and increased trade range for chartered trade companies. The issue we passed. Now where would I dispose of you? You have some degree of power here, but it's not going to be enough to steer it. I was about to say, where does the California trade route go into? Oh, this way. Not through Nippon. But California does also go to the Polynesian Triangle. No need to send a merchant to Ohio. Not that valuable. Oh, crud. So many choices these days. We do have some degree of control in the Deccan. Not much over land, obviously. Just looking around. Back down east to send a bunch of light ships to, I wish I could have my ship, but you're gonna need a lot of them for that. This present, in case you're wondering, Because sometimes you forget. Where does Australia go? Aha! Next 10 years, let's send a merchant to Australia to transfer trade power. I'll be there in 100 days. Now, as a reminder, how much is that value? 30.2 versus 70. Well, I may consider moving him again, or get a new merchant when we expand further upon on that. Ah, you and your imperialist attentions. Here you go. And also we send these couple of light ships just to support them, knowing that one day we'll be fighting against the Japanese fleet. So I'm saving up that military power. Well, now you decided to say, okay, the Mamluks are no longer, but now we view Croatia as a great threat to Ming interests. But then again, if they dare attack us, you attack all the allies around the world. Here comes the ships. Blasted timorids. We're also, let's not forget, we're also still colonizing Africa in the two provinces of Gogo and Hihi. You'll depart this December. Wait for it. You'll make your first stop at Goa, and then you'll stop at Brunei, and then all the way up to there, and you'll be ready for the invasion of Japan by then. Adding more production efficiency. How much would that be in terms of that? Little is sometimes best. We've mentioned about war taxes earlier. This is what that is. You have a reduction of land maintenance, naval maintenance modifier, and mercenary maintenance, and it'll cost you 2 military pound per month. I never used this before because that's going to take away something that I often use for breaching walls of fortresses or getting more generals. And again, I have not appointed newer generals because we all know that everybody's getting old these days. Plus, I'm more than anxious to get this next. And we need all that discipline we can get to defeat the Japanese. Oh, what? Pioneer policy? This is for offensive expansion. Settler chance. Automatically discovered adjacent when a colony is built. Oh. It would be useful if you were a colonial power early in the game. I see. Anyways, we're all 100%. Alright. Make your stop in Goa. Goa, the unofficial capital of Croatian India. Monopoly company formed. Slow it down. The realm often grants trading companies the exclusive rights to traffic goods in a region in exchange for a lump sum payment and continuing revenues from the traders. We have just managed to negotiate one such agreement with a group of Croatian entrepreneurs that promises to deliver us a lucrative windfall. Oh my goodness, this is a very tempting offer. 1, money. 2, get 50 diplomatic power and And by then, you will be very close to getting insurance companies. So that way you will have the trade range and the trade efficiency for that. And the ability to infiltrate administration to rival countries so you know enemy positions should you build their spy network more effectively. In fact, we have 21% control of the spice trade, so we do have the ability to build a spy network faster. Or just take a huge amount of money and I'll be like, well, what the hell am I going to do with that money? We make good enough money through trade. Nah, make a long-term investment. So for the next 10 years, this will have a trade income increase. So we should get that in a few months. Bingo. Double bingo. Insurance companies, even more trade efficiency, and also increase the trade range. Now impulse warfare, so this will give us a new infantry type just before the Japanese invasion. That's why I delayed it for about a couple of months. Plus we plan on reinforcing at least one more army abroad, because the Japanese will put up a fight. And it's mostly a hilly country, based on what I know. Replacing the green coat infantry is the last level of the infantry, up to Eastern Combat Standard. Mass infantry tactics were a departure from the linear tactics that have been dominant for so long. These units can be summed up in two of the maxims of the famous Russian general Suvorov: train hard, fight easy. And the bullet is a fool, the bayonet is a fine chap. They were highly drilled shock infantry who favored mass charge over musket fire. That's how Eastern Tech infantry fight. Keep in mind, Croatia, a country that I play as, is of an Eastern technology group. Compare that to, say, France, which belongs to Western. Karaman, Anatolian. Mamluks, Muslim. Malwa, Indian here. Ming is Chinese. And as for Japan, Chinese. Because you know where they get their influences from. And that nomadic, oddly Chinese, but they are Eastern plutocracy. I guess they grew out of the nomadic lifestyle at some point in their lives. And what does that make New Croatia? Eastern, because they were colonized. Nomadic, well, they're natives, so they are what they are. Anyways, we have a new infantry type. That lowers the morale of armies for a bit. Alright, they're gonna love being Croatian. Progress. Here, you stay here for a bit. Okay, ready? Because we're not gonna wait any longer for you. Next stop, Brunei. And then after you take a bit of the rest, and then you'll land into Korea. So it'll be likely this summer is when we'll start that war. Didn't take much attrition damage, have you? You'll leave in May. There you go. Full reinforcement. And ship's fully repaired. What did I tell you? I'm always careful on my travels. Now, the supply limit has reached its limits for them, so... Once they're all bunched up together like that, then we know which armies are going to be transported on. Which transport fleet, to be exact. I mean, obviously the main landing spots will be here and here. But as far as fortresses is concerned, this has a castle. That area has a castle there too, so strike here first. At least they're not fortresses, they're just old castles. No castle here, just a fort capital. Doesn't have it here. And definitely not one up there. So one would think this should be an easy war, but lately they've been increasing the size of the army. They're probably aware of what they're doing. And they're trying to improve relations with us, but there's one problem with you, Japanese. You have an anti-Christian edict. That's a flavor event for them, I think. They don't want any Christians in Japan. And then that's an issue. But this isn't a holy war. This is for the company. We're not... Remember, soldiers, you're not fighting for the Republic of Croatia. You are fighting for the company. This island was originally Korean. They took it at some point. Unless that was always there, that I wasn't aware of. What's valuable about Tsushima? Chinaware. Okay. Promising, but again, when we fully occupy all Japan, then we'll have to pick specific because one tributary can face... tributaries can fight each other. Right. Deploy the fleet. Be prepared. You're still gonna land there regardless. So it's high time to declare war now. It's doubtful that they'll play any significant role. I mean, they'll build up an army, but it'll be slow for them to deploy. And they'll probably already have ships to transport a few across. There's no strip of land here. So this is imperialism war. The goal is to take the capital of Kyoto, which that's not the real goal here. We're not here to take Kyoto. We're not here to conquer all of Japan. That's not my intention. My intention is to take control of areas that is valuable for the company, especially coal, where for some reason the Japanese have not built that furnace there. But when it comes to ours, we make a lot of fortune here. So, let's go. As you were. You're not involved in this war. For you boys out there. And I know we still have one army left over down here, but this is just a... Well, since they haven't settled down yet, knowing that we'll be taking provinces... One day we'll have to deal with them. Four light ships. Head to there. They're gonna get caught out there. So now we know the positions of their castles. I mean, they're all old castles. They never made any improvements. And that's pretty much it for them. Okay. But bearing in mind, the terrain of Japan has a lot of woods and grasslands and some hills. There's farmlands here. And I assume around there, these unexplored areas are mountains. So, don't spend any administrative power at all. That's the key. And it's entirely possible that it's going to be likely in the next episode that we'll pick up the office selection of what that would be. Of what would benefit the Croatian Republic. We do have an old admiral present. In fact, I believe he is our only... no, there's the other one. But he's the good admiral. Both are relatively of older age. So, this will be their last war. And this will also be the first war featuring mass infantry. Now, I don't know what kind of infantry did they use over in the Far East. We're about to face a few naval incidents while so the first wave will be landing there along that coast, and we'll work on that. And then eventually take Kyoto. And then take a few more areas that is deemed important to us. And of course eventually land another army just to send them there to occupy Hokkaido. Again, areas that we want, that is of centers of trade, but if there is room in the negotiating table that they're willing to give away provinces more to us, then I'll look for ones that would be of more value. Like particularly, well, obviously they don't grow spices over in Japan, but they do have a bit of tea, just like what we got from over there. But obviously there's a... hang on. But obviously there's a lot more tea over in these areas, which we cannot control there. But it's nice to have a little bit of tea in us. And gold is plentiful there. Plus we can get more gold via, you know, Africa. Croatian Central Africa. Anything that might be of interest. Dyes is pretty valuable. Not too developed, but there's already a textile manufactory built there, so that might be of potential, which again, it's for value. There's no trade power in that, but we'll put trade power. Okay, now you tempt me. So Owari will be another target to take. And it can be improved upon, even though there's no centers of trade, but definitely. We could definitely overtake the trade power of anyone. And we'll be rich. Especially when we build these two furnaces here and here. Okay. Now you know your targets. Let's get to fighting. There we go. Put my hand here. Cover them. Sunk 3, and we've captured 1. Oh, that belongs to transport fleet. Cover them. What's your siege skill? 1. You're the cannoneer. You'll land here. And this other army is to also take the area, which also has a coastal center of trade that we need. You'll cover for them. Ready? Plus 15, that's 30,000. Versus 25,000. That can't be right. Hold it right there. We can just drop you off, probably just to cover them here. Watch it take Tsushima. Hang on. Simply for the sake of it. Hi. 20 light ships incoming. Yes, this is going to delay their landings because of ongoing naval combat. And we sunk all of them, captured 1. Ruthless Blockader. That sounds like him. Well, we need a blockade here first. Just protect the transport fleet so our troops can land. That's got to be their main fleet. Setsu Soigun. Yes, yeah, that's it. We'll follow you. The transport fleet should be covered. While we're gonna hunt down their fleet. Don't let them get the port. We'll catch them out there in the Tsugaru Strait. Many light ships will engage first. They do have a few galleys, as this is inland sea, so advantage for them, but as soon as we bring in the big guns, it's over for them. It'll be here in a few days. Give them hell. It's an old two-decker. Some of their ships are actually obsolete. Keep an eye on its morale. We're able to sink some of them. Captured a galley and captured 2 more heavy ships. They're gonna be heading there. Cover them. That's mainly transport fleet. Troops should be landing soon. Yes, they're here. Head on over. Let's sink a couple more. Oh, we're sinking a bunch of them now. Yeah, we got a bunch of them. There's the main Japanese army over there. The larger one, Ilgun. Which again, I don't know what that means in Japanese. I didn't study much, very much of Japanese. So yeah, that's what the uniforms, Croatia and Japan, you could tell the difference. Okay. Keep them covered. That's their main army. It's 2-star general. He'll fight well against us. Once it's occupied, safe passage. But transports to land. Just wait for it. We've established a foothold. Go pick them up. Come on board. Oh, you have to go through this way. Oh, crud. Not what I expected, but it'll have to do. Go pick this army up from Tsushima. Begin your land campaign. Or you're gonna have to take the landings from there. Well, one at a time then. Let's not make a habit of it. It's just baby steps. Can't move because that fort's in the way. Just waiting for you to begin the siege. The report goes to the Yamato base, so until this castle falls, then we'll begin to move on. Chikozen's fallen after 91 days. Could have done better, but I'm saving up military power. And buying time to get the administrative power up to core of the provinces that we'll be taking in the future. And who knows when that would be. Alright, ready to move on? Alright, let's go assist them. You'll do your work from there. Let's move. Blockading this here so it can make your job easier. If we see any indication that there's Japanese troops that are going to be heading to, what is this area called? Kyushu. Kyushu. It's that area here. This whole island here. If the Japanese troops are moving that way, block them from going anywhere. Actually, they cannot because... Actually, yes, they can. Just have to block their sea passage. Again, never invaded Japan before in any playthrough. Nor have I played as any of them, so I'm not familiar. So we'll be taking Shikoku. I guess that's the name of the whole island. for the Saigoku culture, so you'll be heading down there. I'll cover either side. Go wherever you want to go. I'll continue to carpet siege all over this area, and forces from Croatian Canada. I didn't expect you to be there. It's got light ships and transport. Marko Latkovic. I didn't expect forces from Croatia and Canada to be participating in this war. Wasn't even paying attention to their positions. So we got them. That's most of their fleet. Can I believe you took your time to sail all the way over there? Because I did not pay attention to your movements, because I didn't think you would come. But this is just only the first year. Progress is going well. Come on, get over here. Gotta get this obstacle out of the way first, then the door will be open towards Kyoto, and then into some of the unexplored regions. Then we'll take one more castle in Kozuke, defeat the Japanese armies, wherever they may be. I mean, you know, with that kind of spacing, with the geography, that's why 4 armies was an ideal number instead of 3. So we can cover the entire front. And the further north we go, then and possibility of using an envelopment tactic against them, where they cannot retreat anywhere else, and they're going to be forced to fight at our own choosing. They'll be forced to fight. Well, we have to occupy all of its provinces to break their will. Again, that's our idea. The honest merchants of Croatia. While many traders are known for cheating countrymen and foreigners alike, lying about the quality of goods and making fraudulent promises, Croatian merchants are well known to be trustworthy, if competitive, though sometimes may cut deals to benefit themselves and not their trade partners. They rarely lie or take bribes, just made us the first choice of traders around the world. Tuscany, old friend. It ain't a black day for the church, it's a good day for me. Tuscany is our old reliable friend. For the next 10 years, even more global trade power for Hrvatska. Let's move out. There to engage the Canadian fleet again. Could have sworn I thought you had light ships. All you had were transport ships. But we'll help you out with that, so you don't feel handicapped. Captured 1 ship. I don't know if that belongs to Canada. No, it went to me. As you will. There's their main army. But if they continue to grow in size, it's likely due to increase of manpower reserves, or they've hired mercenaries, because we don't even know how much money they make over there. Now they formed into the Imperial Army. They'll have to stand and fight one of these days. Good to know that's for development cost reduction. The morale is low. You could take them on while they're going to be on their bad day. Printing press gives benefits. Since the invention of the printing press, more and more books about an ever wider array of subjects have been published. We can now see the benefit of this, since knowledge spreads faster and more ideas are appearing among our philosophers and natural scientists. Good news! Alright, a little more administrative power, so we can call them in the future. Go get them. The Japanese are building more ships, I see. Okay, who's better at naval fighting? The colonial ideas of Canada? I mean, colonial traditions, doesn't say, but for Japan. Ship durability, so they're kind of hard to put down. You can't keep a good Japanese ship down, so go help the Canadians. Drive them back. Move up. You're gonna have to go around. Soon we'll be at their doorstep. Now head to the main front line, quickly. There's the main Japanese ships. Go deal with them. Where do they go? We could see their location of where they might be. Here's an idea. This has a grand shipyard. We found them. They're still moving away again. Because they need to be repaired. Let's go take their capital. They'll likely send peace offers to us, but that's not how we're gonna end it this way. No, sir. It's gonna take a while to move up there, but it'll be explored nonetheless. Doesn't hurt to explore territories. That was a small army, not the Imperial Army. That's Yamato. What trade good does it have? Tea. Oh yeah, we're gonna kick them out and we're gonna sink them. So it appears that the Croatian Canadians aren't gonna be sending their troops this way, but it's nice to know their naval support. He's got livestock. sunk them all. Not going anywhere now. Stepan Vracic passed away, so that makes July 29th, new election day. He was 65. We gotta go back to bureaucrat candidate because we need about as much administrative power as we can, knowing that we'll be taking a couple of Japanese provinces for the company, and also we got a quorum that you still gotta do, which will take years. So that's why some of the Croatian armies will have to remain in Japan for the time to put down separatists, if there are any. He is 50. Great, another old guy. If there is something that the country needs less of in terms of who runs the country, is old people. Just because seniority is a thing. What? At least he's a naval guy. So, all ships of Croatian origin will now have ship durability up. Now we're on par with the Japanese. With their maritime legacy. There you go. Now we're at your level. Okay, up the mountain we go. This way too. And you cover them. Hey, and before you go, give me military command. Holy crud. 6 fire, 5 shock, 5 maneuverability, but 1 siege. That's a 3-star general right there. A 50-year-old man. Well, forget about what I said about seniority. This man has knowledge of military matters. In terms of leading an army. Minnow. Paper. Alright, let the siege begin. We gotta swing the fleet around. Whenever those ships are fully repaired, put them to use. So gotta surround Japan, covering this side of the sea and then that side. Don't listen to any peace offers. I want to fully occupy the country and defeat their army so we can get a much more favorable peace deal. Local traders demand aid. Shinano. Livestock. But close to their fortress. Merchants encountered a trade battle in Sit. Has sent a representative to the government, describing their home as increasingly lawless land, where piracy runs rampant. Ships and ports are routinely raided by privateers. They argue that the government has neglected them and request funding to build defenses against the growing threats. If the request is not granted, many feel that they've already lost too much and will take their business elsewhere. Send them wherever they need. I am going to invest the hell out of this. The company investments regarding here. Once you're done occupying, go help them with that siege. We struck gold again and go. Why are we getting so lucky with gold? Forget about Japanese gold. It's African gold is where it matters. But of course there's a flaw for that. Because you know the inflation. But do not worry, we have a national bank, we have our advisor, and the history forgiven. System of siege. This is Kai, home of Mount Fuji. If the owner's religion and a religion in the area, it has to be Shinto or Mahayana Buddhism. If you improve it, that reduces the development cost and devastation. More so, and then tax modifier, and then even more so and for this whole area. And global modifier for yearly prestige and yearly karma decay. Oh, karma, that's for Buddhism. I never played as a Buddhist country before, so I can't tell you. You see what I mean by covering the front line like that? Army here, army here, army here, army here. Can cover an entire front. There's the main Imperial Army. Let the movement be locked. I'll take them on. Well, maybe we may need some assistance. Wait for the movement to be locked. Locked. Move up. Japan will take a crossing penalty because we'll beat them to it. Hold here. Let him do the work. He's got the skills. So Japan's discipline is strict, so their ruler is strict. Japanese traditions. That's part of offensive ideas. Oh, I should have paid attention to his personality. A strict one, so yes, the Japanese will put up a fight. Move up. As talented as that man is, but let's believe in practicality in terms of warfare. Glory Hound. That will definitely kill off their manpower reserves. And it's going to take a while for them to be restored. Let's go. Hey! They're at sea. Get them. This again? Yeah. Since they're going to be retreating all the way to Hokkaido, and we will block their access, so we will capture the rest of Japan without incident, hopefully. So you got them covered. Begin the siege. So yeah, they're retreating all the way up to Hokkaido, so we should take the rest of the mainland without incident. So far, so good. Speed it up a bit. And don't listen to any offers. We've not fully occupied their country yet. Not too concerned about them, but may send, once we're Hokkaido down, I may send them over there. And beat them up a bit and get them to surrender and pay us money and all that. I think it would be better if they were to steer their trade towards us. Since, you know, that's part of our national traditions. See? The Pearl, the Adriatic, trade steering. We're good at that sort of thing. Gotcha. can't go anymore. Not until this fortress, this castle of Kozuke is down. Everybody wants to rival Croatia. I got more enemies than rivals than I can pick. Made so many enemies around the world. Hey, forces from New Croatia is here. For reference. Tariffs on naval supplies. Since you just recently researched this, you might as well. More prestige from land battles. If only we had the siege ability, then we wouldn't be having these kind of problems now, would we? Anyways, slow it down. The naval supplies production in one of our colonies has come into focus. Seems that it generates quite a lot of money. Well, perhaps too much without being properly taxed. In the spirit of mercantilism, we should force them to trade their naval supplies to our ports instead. This will greatly benefit our merchants and add a lot of income to our crown's coffers. Oh good, it's for Croatia and Canada. Tax it because our liberty desire is not as high as New Croatia. So tax it! I might consider doing that more. Beck, you go up there. You take this way. Vladislav Jelačić. His artillery corps mourns his passing as he was one of their own. He was a great man. Can't wait to take this area and improve upon it to reduce general costs, so I can go get new Croatian generals. Basically, once this war is over, we can get back to real soldiering. Wait, grain. Bali insulted us. Don't make me come over there. That one took longer than usual. That's because Japan picked defensive ideas. They would last longer. Alright, move on. A little bit far off, don't you think? No, not anymore. Get ready to cross the strait. I know it's 99% war score, but I really want to break their will to get a favorable peace deal. And oh, I haven't forgot about Jude too, so... Actually, who wants to volunteer? You know, to go to Kamchatka. Because we're willing. He'll take care of this. You're a battlefield medic. Once it's fully occupied, land and go pick up the army to head to Kamchatka. So we get a 100% war score once we fully occupy everything. Cover us. You stay there. Wait for pickup. The Kamchatka Trench. Actually, it'd be much better for Kuru Islands. Well, whichever is more convenient for you. English Columbia wants colonial independence from Britain. Who else? Oh dear. English Columbia, English West Indies, Australia wants to be independent from Great Britain, being assisted by Portugal and their colonies, and Revolutionary English Brazil. Revolutionary English Brazil? Yeah, they really want to get out of this. They want to follow the same path as Colombia did. It's a tough task for them. I wish the same thing would happen for the Spanish. In fact, I might be willing to assist them. So they took care of the last of the natives there, so that's the state of what America looks like. Meanwhile, land here. We'll be there on later this December. Don't take too long. Japanese flagship sunk. Here's your prestige. Where did they go? It's a good question. Where did they go? They're gone. Okay, 3 more provinces to take. And then that's curtains for Japan. Well, we go take Kamchatka very soon. Get them out of the war, and then that's it for them. And it's gonna take a while to send everybody home. Yeah, we'll pillage you. Simply for the sake of it, and bring some of that development back to Zagreb, capital. I know it's 99, but occupying all provinces will get you up to 100. Get back in here. Already back? Yes, sir. Well, land in Chikuzen for starters. You'll remain in there, and you'll take a position here. There's the Croatian army, Canadian army. You're late. One more province. They're fully occupied, but it's not 100% war score, but I believe you get the basic idea. Unless there's a Japanese province that I am missing somehow. Oh yeah, that little island. Why did you make your way down? Head to there. Hey, need a volunteer. Don't move. Forgot about that little island there. I should. Forgot about that one. My goodness, they really took a bunch of Korean land. Present. Land here. Then the war score will be 100%. Get a favorable peace deal. that was a motorcycle. The deed is done. Oh, come on, I'll pick you up and drop you off in, over there. In fact, put you back where you once came. Tokachi. That's where you'll be stationed. That's how we're gonna put down separatism here. Okay, so that's it then for this war. And for this episode, but again, the provinces that you want. It's the centers of trade for starters. Oh, we can actually take a lot more. Okay, so these were the original ones. It's these 5 here. Centers of trade, and including areas that contain coal. So we could take a little more. Unless you want to divide them further inland if you're looking for more valuable ones, now that all of Japan has been explored. So anything that would be of great value to us. More gold, perhaps? Oh, yes, I forget. Owari, for the dice. That's for more local trade power to it. Okay, that one too. Anything else that would be of good value to you? Tea? Copper isn't as valuable. Paper is somewhat valuable. Now, in Tsushima's got Chinaware, and that's sometimes pretty valuable. So yeah, take Tsushima as well. In fact, have they built a manufacturer of any kind? No, they have not. Hold on. I don't know they get monsoons in Japan. I mean, Japan is sometimes a stormy country, like similar rain to Italy. Okay, so Chinaware then. In fact, have a look at the most developed provinces. I mean, Kyoto is obviously more developed, so you can't take that. But at least you'll be taking one of the great projects there that there is room for improvement. But it's only fish. Not as developed, but tea is somewhat valuable. I mean, there's not a lot of tea you can get out of Japan or Korea because the most abundant numbers of tea you'll find is in China and in Indochina. None in India. And definitely cannot get them from over there because of who the owners are. I guess it's nice to have some tea, so I'll take those. Yes, some tea, mister. And that includes down there. Oh, hold on, right there. There's one thing you fail to realize here. Let's be realistic. Not only the overextension, aggressive expansion is whatever to me, but the overextension. Like, you'll be dealing with those kind of problems for a few years from now. So remember that, alright? Remember that. Okay, so the tea. Should I really go for gold? I mean, gold is what it is. Paper is a little bit valuable. But should we really take Kyoto? I mean, that's going to cost you a lot more. And that's too much overextension because you're taking a well-developed territory. Hold on, stop clicking. Culture group is Japanese. So would that have to be us Japanese or Japanese as an accepted culture in the Republic? Which of course we can't do that because we're planning on making a trade company control. But I do like the idea of what it has for it. It's part of the same state. It has grain, but that is rather tempting to me. Tropical wood is sometimes valuable. In fact, have a look. Okay, not as developed. But add a structure there, then maybe we can get to talking. So, include that one too, but bearing in mind, if you take too many of these, you're not only going to face problems of separatism in Japan, but also in some other areas too that were recently conquered throughout. So be careful. But there's also, you know, oh yeah, that island used to belong to Korea. You should return that. I have no interest in taking it for myself, but it should return it. I mean, I don't mind spending some diplomatic power to freed nations like I knew up in Hokkaido. But I'm still taking Tokachi. You don't also pillage the capital, because not only you're taking that, but that is a well-developed capital that I believe some of that can go to, God blast it, go to Croatia. I mean, look what it has. Taking it all the way back to Zagreb. Why have I not improved in this? Oh, yeah. Why haven't you done that? So again, just the more valuable provinces I want. Gold is rather tempting, but I think African gold is good enough because of we've just been fortunate and lucky. And one day we want to fight a war against Kiowa, and we'll be taking even more gold from them. And their coastal centers trade, so there's more value in trade than it is in gold, to be honest. The last thing I would want is increased inflation. Especially when these modifiers expire. So invest in so yeah. They already have paper, but there's some value to it. Same for that one. They're more developed. But look at the base production of these two. So they're the same. There's a chance of that, small chance of them depleting. In fact, when you look at the African colonies, you have not developed it at all, so there's no risk of a gold mine depleting, so you're fine. Your income in gold is 198, but we're more reliant on trade than it is of gold. Okay, pillage it is then. We lose 6 development, we gain 4. And we want them to transfer trade power because we are of the company, so they should transfer 50% of its trade power to Croatia, so we can make a lot more fortune out of this. That's what I really wanted. So I don't need gold provinces. Just want to increase the trade power and a few valuables like tea and tropical wood and more tea and coastal centers of trade. And if we want to develop somewhere, there's that area. So let's review this one more time, alright? Tokachi will cede to Croatia. And they ought to give this island back to Korea. That's their core province. Ainu will be an independent state for reasons. So that'll be pretty much it. And what little money that you'll be able to send. So we'll just have enough administrative power that will be required for whatever you may need. So that is it. Okay? And we'll try to take care of everything here. And hopefully we don't get... I mean, yes, the overextension will be high, but hopefully it doesn't cause too much trouble in separatism. Check back in the day. We took more casualties than the Japanese did, now that I thought about it. Ainu is a republic. The Republic of Ainu. But they're of Shinto culture because their native religion was gone. So yes, a little more breathing room. Coromol. And these will be done in 3 years' time. And now. And in 3 years' time after that, then we could start developing this area. Hang on. Assign all provinces, all the eligible ones to the company. And would you look at that? But wait till the month. We can upgrade each and every one of these, so let's get to work. You've been saving up a lot of money for this. Yes, it can be improved upon if you wanted to spend the money. Obviously, the native names have been retained. And now these company investments. So, one there, another there, this here, that too, this too. Of course, up in Tokachi. So, this is to add more local trade power. In the entire same area, production efficiency will go up. And put a Croatian district over there, so we could develop that a bit further in the future. But for the Croatian township of its entirety, the entire same region, we can put that over here. Well, is Korea and Japan a separate region? Let me see. Region Korea, region Japan. Yes, they're separate. Okay, good. So we'll build 2 of them then. It's for army tradition and it's for trade value modifier. That's for the Nippon Charter. Keep that well in mind. There's another eligible. Well, we do make some money from that. Okay. And Goa. You could put one in Bengal, but it's not worth investing. Because the trade value is too low. And it's not valuable right now. We'll get everything sorted out very soon. So we'll end this episode on that note, as we will end on the month of July, so we will know the final result of what everything looks like. They're not Japanese separatists. These are formerly daimyo separatists. So the chance of that happening, of any kind of rebellion, is low. No doubt. Because of current army positions and all that. We got coal in Tokachi. And a new merchant too. Congratulations. Don't need to develop that. Never mind then. Maybe for production efficiency. And since you got a new merchant, that means... Yes, sir. And the trade value jumped up, thanks to us. But it's possible that I may develop somewhere. Maybe here. Because, you know, this is the area where I believe that's where modern-day Tokyo is. Yeah, develop that, make that a world port. Then, things will be better. And where would I dispose of this new merchant that we just got? And look at how much money we're collecting from Nippon. 51. No need to send light ships over to generate even more trade power. You got it enough. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we will end the episode on that note. So hopefully things will settle down in the next couple of years, as we'll soon send some armies back to the Balkans, in case the Commonwealth does anything. Or if anyone does anything for that matter. I mean, it's an ever-changing world in this ever-changing period. So we hope you people enjoyed this episode. And until then, for the next one, so long for now.